Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If your IELTS score is around band 6 and you have been studying for weeks or even months but still cannot reach band 7, this video is for you. Maybe you have learned hundreds of vocabulary words. Maybe you have watched dozens of IELTS videos. Maybe you have completed many Cambridge practice tests. But somehow your score keeps coming back to 5.5, 6, or 6.5. And you are probably asking yourself, what am I doing wrong? The good news is you probably don't need to study twice as much. You need to study smarter. In this video, I am going to show you a simple strategy to move from band 6 to band 7. And I'm going to divide this strategy into 3 important areas. First, identify your weakest skill. Second, fix the specific mistakes that are stopping your score. And third, practice in a way that actually improves your performance. So stay with me until the end, because I will also give you a simple daily routine that you can follow. Let's begin. Why band 6 students get stuck? The first thing you need to understand is this. Band 6 and band 7 are not completely different levels of English. This is very important. Many students think that to get band 7, they need extremely difficult vocabulary,
a perfect British accent, or complicated grammar. That's not true. At band 6, you can communicate your ideas, but you may still have problems with consistency. You may make grammar mistakes. You may repeat the same words. You may hesitate while speaking. You may misunderstand some questions. You may lose marks because of small mistakes in listening or reading. And in writing, your ideas may be relevant, but your development, organization, or language accuracy may not be strong enough. So the difference between band 6 and band 7 is often not about knowing thousands of new things. It is about making fewer mistakes and performing more consistently. Think about it this way. If you currently make 10 common mistakes, and you can reduce those mistakes to 5, your performance can improve significantly. So don't ask, how can I learn more English? Instead, ask, why am I losing marks? That is the first major change you need to make. Step 1. Find your weakest skill. Now let's talk about the first strategy. You need to find your weakest skill. IELTS has 4 skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Let's imagine your scores are listening 7.5, reading 7, writing 5.5, speaking 6. Your biggest problem is obviously not listening. Your biggest opportunity is writing. But many students do the opposite. They spend hours practicing the skill they already
enjoy. For example, they may keep doing reading tests because reading is easy for them, but their writing stays at 5.5. This is not an efficient strategy. If your goal is band 7 overall, you need to understand where your marks are actually being lost. So take your last 3 IELTS practice tests. Write down your scores. Don't look at just one test. Look at your average performance. For example, listening 6.5, reading 7, writing 5.5, speaking 6. Now you know where you need to focus. Your preparation should not be, I will practice everything equally. Instead, it should be, I will spend more time fixing my weakest area. That is a much smarter strategy. Part 1 mini challenge. So here's your first task. Take a piece of paper and write listening, reading, writing, speaking. Now write your most recent scores. Then answer one question. Which skill is preventing me from reaching band 7? Once you know the answer, your preparation becomes much easier. In part 2, we're going to talk about the most important thing: how to find the exact mistakes that are keeping you at band 6. Let's continue. Part 2.
Stop practicing randomly and start fixing mistakes. Welcome to part 2. Now that you know your weakest skill, the next step is extremely important. Stop practicing randomly. This is one of the biggest mistakes IELTS students make. They do a test, they check the answers, they see the score, and then they move on to another test, but they don't analyze their mistakes. And if you don't analyze your mistakes, you may repeat exactly the same mistake tomorrow. Let's take listening as an example. Suppose you got 28 out of 40. You know that you made 12 mistakes, but simply knowing that you made 12 mistakes isn't enough. You need to ask, why did I get these 12 questions wrong? Maybe you didn't understand the speaker. Maybe you missed the answer. Maybe you heard the answer but wrote the wrong spelling. Maybe you chose the first answer you heard, but the speaker later changed the information. Maybe you didn't understand a synonym. These are completely different problems, and each problem requires a different solution. The error log method. So I recommend something very simple. Create an IELTS error log. You can use a notebook, Google Docs, or even a spreadsheet. Every time you make a mistake, write down 4 things: question number, my answer, correct answer. And most importantly, why was my answer wrong? For example, question 15, my answer 16, correct answer 60. Reason, I misunderstood the number. Now you know exactly what to practice. Or maybe, my answer, environment, correct answer, environments. Reason, I missed the plural. Now you know that your problem isn't listening comprehension, it's attention to grammatical detail. This method is powerful because it turns your mistakes into a personalized study plan. Speaking example. Let's take speaking. Imagine you record yourself answering this question. Do you enjoy your hometown? You answer, yes, I like my hometown because it is very nice and there are many nice places and people are nice. This answer is understandable, but look at the problem. You repeated the word nice several times. You used very simple structures, and your answer may sound memorized or limited. Instead, you could say, yes, I really enjoy living in my hometown because it has a relaxed atmosphere and people are generally quite friendly. What I particularly like is that I can enjoy a quieter lifestyle without being too far away from modern facilities. Notice something important. The second answer isn't full of extremely difficult vocabulary. The ideas are simply clearer. The vocabulary is more natural, the sentence structures are more varied, and the answer is better developed. That's the kind of improvement you should aim for. Writing example. Now imagine you're getting band 6 in writing. Don't simply write 10 more essays. First, find out why you're getting band 6. Are you not answering all parts of the question? Are your ideas underdeveloped? Are your paragraphs poorly organized? Are you making frequent grammar mistakes? Are you using vocabulary incorrectly? Are you repeating the same words? If grammar is your biggest problem, spend time correcting grammar. If organization is your biggest problem, study paragraph structure. If your ideas are weak, practice developing ideas. In other words, don't practice more of the same mistake. Fix the mistake first, then practice again. The 3-step practice method. Here's a simple method you can use for every IELTS skill. Step 1. Test yourself. Do a real IELTS question or practice test. Step 2. Analyze your mistakes. Don't just check the answer, find out why you were wrong. Step 3. Practice the specific weakness. Then repeat the same type of question. This creates a cycle. Test to analyze to fix, to test again. That's much more effective than test to score, to test to score, to test. If you've been stuck at band 6, this one change can completely transform your preparation. Part 3. The band 6 to band 7. Daily strategy. Now let's talk about the final and perhaps most important part. How should you actually study every day if your target is band 7? You don't need to study English for 10 hours a day. You need a focused routine. Let's create a simple routine. The 2-hour IELTS routine. If you have approximately 2 hours per day, you can divide your time like this. 30 minutes, your weakest skill. 30 minutes, second weakest skill. 20 minutes, vocabulary and collocations. 20 minutes, speaking practice. 20 minutes, mistake analysis. Let's break this down. First, spend 30 minutes on your weakest skill. If writing is your weakest area, work on writing. If speaking is your weakest area, practice speaking. Don't automatically spend the same amount of time on every skill. Focus on the problem. Speaking routine. For speaking, use your phone to record yourself. Choose one IELTS question. Give yourself a few seconds to think. Then answer naturally. Don't read a script. After recording, listen to yourself. Ask, did I hesitate too much? Did I repeat words? Did I make grammar mistakes? Did I give enough explanation? Did I use natural expressions? Then record the answer again. This is incredibly powerful. Your first answer may be weak, your second answer will usually be better. Your third answer can be much more natural. This is how you build fluency. Vocabulary strategy. Now let's talk about vocabulary. If you're currently Band 6, don't make the mistake of memorizing 50 difficult words every day. Instead, learn fewer words but learn them deeply. For every new word, learn the meaning, a synonym, a common collocation, and most importantly, an example sentence. For example, significant, meaning important or noticeable. Instead of simply memorizing the word, learn a natural combination, a significant improvement. Then use it in your own sentence. There has been a significant improvement in my English over the past 6 months. Now you can actually use the word. Remember, knowing a word is not the same as being able to use a word. For IELTS speaking and writing, active vocabulary is much more useful than a huge list of words you never use. The 30-day rule. Now here's my recommended strategy. Give yourself 30 days. For the next 30 days, every day identify one weakness, practice that weakness. Record or write your performance, analyze your mistakes, and repeat. Don't try to become perfect in one day. Your goal is to become slightly better every day. For example, Day 1, reduce hesitation. Day 2, improve sentence structure. Day 3, improve pronunciation. Day 4, improve Part 2 answers. Day 5, improve vocabulary. Day 6, improve grammar. And continue like this. After 30 days, you may notice something very interesting. You're not simply learning more English, you're making fewer mistakes. And that's exactly what you need to move toward Band 7. The biggest secret. Before we finish, I want you to remember one thing. Band 7 doesn't come from studying everything. It comes from fixing the things that are holding you back. If your speaking is weak, focus on speaking. If your writing is weak, focus on writing. If you keep losing listening marks because of spelling, fix spelling. If you keep losing reading marks because of true, false, not given, master that question type. Don't study harder, study more strategically. And please don't compare yourself with someone who already has Band 8 or Band 9. Your goal is not to become perfect overnight. Your goal is simply Band 6 to Band 6.5 to Band 7, one step at a time. Final challenge. Now I have a challenge for you. Take your most recent IELTS score, write it down, then write, my current score, blank, my target score, Band 7, and underneath it write, my weakest skill is blank. Now choose one mistake that you repeatedly make in that skill. That is where you should start. Don't wait until tomorrow. Start today. Because the difference between a Band 6 student and a Band 7 student is not always intelligence. Very often it is simply the quality of their practice. If this video helped you, subscribe to IELTS with Raihan because in the upcoming videos we are going to work on speaking, listening, reading, writing, vocabulary, grammar, and exam strategies step by step. And if you want me to create a complete Band 6 to Band 7 30-day study plan, comment Band 7 plan. I'll see you in the next lesson. Good luck with your IELTS preparation. And remember, don't just practice IELTS, practice your weaknesses. That's how you move from Band 6 to Band 7.